right, guys, looks like we're live. I can just get a sound check. Sound check, guys. How's my sound, guys? I'm good, thank you. All right, awesome. All right, we've got some people in the house already. Cool, sounds good. Hey, so welcome to the Friday happy hour live stream. So awesome. What's everyone drinking today? I'm drinking a mixed drink. Actually, one of these Bud Light seltzers. Have you guys heard of these drinks before? These Bud Light seltzers? They're pretty good. They're pretty good. They're pretty good. So if you're joining from Thailand or Australia, good morning to you. I guess it's Saturday, so happy to have you on the live stream as well. Yeah, I got a couple of items I'm going to kind of be going through today. Prep for it. What are you drinking today? It says I made my own mead. Let's see. That would be Never Trust FRT. I don't know. I think that might be on the edge. I think I know what that says, but I'm not going to sound it out. So awesome, man. So great. Thanks for everyone for joining here. Let's have a little drink and cheers everyone to the week. Happy hour. Cheers to you. Very nice. So yeah, I got a couple of things I was interested in talking about today, and let me know, guys, if you want anything you guys want to talk about. But essentially, I've been reading a lot of news around Thailand and what's going on. First of all, first thing I did is I checked today. I haven't checked this in a long time. Is the exchange rate? When was the last time you guys checked the exchange rate? It's been a while for me because there's been no reason to, right? Because if you're not planning a trip to go back, you're not usually curious with those kind of things. So I checked and it was 33 to 1. So when I last went to Thailand, it was like 31. So it's gone up a lot. And I was just laughing to myself. I said, you know, of course the exchange rate is getting better now that nobody can go over there, right? So I was just thinking that, you know, by the time it gets to be November, I bet you it's going to spike to like 36. I bet you it's going to be great for anyone that wants to go over there. But you know, who's going to go at that point, right? So it might be a great exchange rate, but the virus might still be going on. I don't know. But I was thinking that that might be one of the benefits of going early once everything kind of calms down and gets back to normal. I know on the last live stream we were talking about, you know, maybe September, October, things kind of starting off to get back to normal. And then maybe November, December, taking the chance to go back out there. I was thinking maybe it would be back to normal in January with everyone kind of coming out and the bars opening up and this kind of thing. But I was thinking to myself, if that exchange rate is at 36 to 1, it would definitely be more of a motivation to kind of get out there in November, December. So yeah. And then Papa Jeff says that the Thai people are also getting a stimulus, 5,000 baht each. So, you know, for those of us that are Farangs that visit there, that are tourists, 5,000 baht is, what is that, like about $120? Someone can do the exchange for me. I can do it. Let me see, 5,000. Very curious now because I was thinking about this today. So 5,000 is $151 with the current exchange. So not a lot of money to us, but to them, it's a lot because a lot of these people, they get paid maybe 5,000 or 6,000 baht a month. If you're working in a hotel, if you're cleaning the rooms, it's usually like 7,000 or 8,000 baht a month. So that's almost an entire month pay. So that's actually, you know, pretty good for them to get. Let's see. Never Trust says cancel my trip from 06 April through 06 May. So yeah, it's a tough time. And you're probably looking to go during Songkran, right? Never Trust, were you looking to kind of take advantage of the Songkran this year? And another question for you would be, have you gone to Songkran before? So just say hello to a couple guys here. I know we've got Never Trust. I haven't seen you in the stream before, so thanks for coming. Oasis, what's up, RH? Your streams are fun and informative. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. You know, I got a lot of great comments from the stream last time. I really appreciate that. Go More Hike says, hey, do you consider the word Farang as negative? My thoughts. So this is actually a great question. I was looking to speak about this on the last stream, but let's open it up and talk about it a little bit now. Again, cheers to everybody. So most people do not realize that the word farong does have negative connotations to it. Let me try to pick a kind word that I was used for like a white guy. So if you say like a white guy's a honky, right? That's a negative word. If you're using it in fun, then it's okay. But it's just my way of kind of getting the point across that not all times when you hear the word farong, it's usually because they're talking negatively about you. They're looking to get one over on you. I always tell my friends that if you're in a bar and you hear a bunch of Thai, just blah, blah, and then you hear farong, you should look, like whip around, see if they're talking about you. Maybe they're looking to add another drink to your bill. They want to buy a drink for one of their friends, this kind of thing. But I do consider farong like a negative, connotation to it. It is a general word for any tourist that comes from the Western countries. But yeah, I mean, it's essentially, if you talk to Thai people, if you do a little more research into the word farong, you'll find it's more of a negative connotation. It's like a negative way to refer to. It's kind of like saying a tourist, right? So a tourist could be considered like a negative word, right? Oh, that guy's a tourist. I live in San Francisco. You know, if I come across someone walking slow on the sidewalk with a map in their hands, I'm like, oh, tourist, and I try to get around them. So I'm sort of using that word as a negative word, right, to refer to them. It's sort of how the Thais refer to farong. So it can be just way that they say Westerner, farong, or it can be more of a negative connotation. So those are my thoughts, just what I think. Let's see. Gomorite says, yeah, you couldn't give me enough money to get it on an airplane right now. So yeah, it's funny because I do come across a lot of posts online, people saying, oh, tickets are really cheap. Did you see how cheap it is to go to Vietnam? And I'm just thinking, so why does it even matter? It could be $1. I'm still not going to go. And you can't push those off. You can't buy the ticket and then push it off. There's usually a lot of restrictions in that. So, and another thing is, if you're going to buy a ticket, maybe that one that is transferable, what's your end game in mind? When do you want to go? Do you think it's okay in November, December? There has been talking of that there may be a second wave to this coming, that it may calm down a bit in June, July, and then it may come back in September, October, third wave, then the first wave. So just something to keep in mind, as you're thinking about your vacation, those should really be like soft dates in your mind, like, well, it'd be nice to kind of save for that trip in November, December. But I would definitely counsel you against making any hotel reservations or flight reservations. That would really just be the smarter thing to do. The price is not going to fluctuate that much. It's better for your own peace of mind to know that it's good before you make your airline reservations. That's just kind of what I would say. Prepport says, what is a positive term for us? It would be American or Australian or London. A lot of people, a lot of Thais don't refer to the UK citizens. They refer to them as London. They say, oh, London. So not UK, that kind of stuff. So they would refer you more by what country you're from than farong. Oh, here comes the American. That's more of a neutral term. But it depends. I use the word farong a lot. But again, I'm referring to myself, so I feel like it's okay to call myself a farong. In my mind, what I do is I tell myself that's just the word for Western tourist. But just so you know, if you go back all the way back to the 60s and 70s, like farong was the word for, a derogatory word for that. So let's see. Yeah, Papa Jib says it depends which country you're from. Then you call it by the country. You don't call Thais. Yeah, so I got your point on that one. I won't say that word because that refers to an object, not a person. Never Trust says United Airlines gave me a full monetary refund, not a credit to my United account, an exception because of the virus scare. So good for you. That is awesome because it sounds like you were looking to go pretty quickly here in April, so coming up. So that's great that you got a full refund. You should count yourself a little lucky because some of the airlines, especially if you're looking at Philippine Airlines, China Airlines, that would be a more difficult refund. They probably would just credit your account. And what that would mean is at your leisure, next time you want to book a flight, you can do it at no charge. The reason why they do that is they want to keep that revenue. They don't want to write it off. So they have your money, they want to keep that. So good for you for getting the refund That's awesome. Go More Hikes has read the description, Darling versus Darkling. So yeah, we have a couple people in the chat now, so I can kind of get to this. This is my favorite topic, and I got to give credit where credit is due, because I was actually in Pattaya. I was on Soi 6 making the walk down all those bars, right? For people that aren't familiar with that area in Pattaya, you go down, there must be, what do you think, guys, like 60 bars on the left and right side, just bam, 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 all open air bars. And I heard a lot of darling, you know, they're trying to get you in to buy a beer at their bar versus the other bar, right? But I listened to a fellow YouTuber, I'll give credit where credit is due, Simon from Land of Smiles, great YouTube channel. If you guys don't already know his channel, please, you know, go there, subscribe, check out his videos. He's doing some great things over at his property, opening a resort and some really good stuff. He's very subscriber friendly. So I will tell you, if you're looking to book a trip to Thailand, maybe check out his videos and see about, you know, taking advantage of his resort that he has built. But getting back to the topic, so Simon had mentioned that, I'll just cut to it. Darkling, the definition for darkling, if you translate from Thai to English, is horse's ass. Yeah, so darkling is horse's ass. So if you're walking down some of these long roads with the bars and you might hear darling, darling, but every now and again, you're gonna hear darkling. And that's their way of kind of sticking it to you a little bit. Sort of similar like the Farong thing, right? But they're taken to the next level. And what you can do is, you know, you don't have to call them out because, of course, Thais are all about saving face. So you don't want to make a scene. But it is good to let them know that you heard that. So that's what I'll generally do, is I'll snap my head around and I'll say, I hear you and I know what that means. So, and then I'll usually say, like, don't call me that, and I'll say what they called me. So it's interesting because to them, we won't hear the difference, right? So we hear it all the same. It's just darling, darling. But every now and again, if you guys go down any of those areas like Soi Mid in Thailand, you'll hear it in Soi Bukaw. You won't hear it if you're saying hello in Thai to them. If you go down there and say, you know, Sawadee Kap, Sabadi Mai Kap, Mayao Kap, Mayao Kap, you know, hello, how you doing? Oh, no, thank you. They won't say it because they know that you probably know a little bit or you know the game around that. But if you just go down there saying, hey, hello, hi, one or two of them will say that usually as you bypass their bar. So now you know, and all credit goes to Simon, Land of Smiles. He brought that to my attention, and it was so funny because it struck a nerve with me, and I just couldn't believe it because I'd been down there a couple times and I'd heard that. So yeah, so Go More Hike says, I don't like being called Farong. Usually the way they say it sounds negative. So that is true. I mean, a lot of times, if you do have them talking, if you're in a bar and you have a bunch of people around you, they're drinking, you're having a good time, if you heard the word Farong and they look over at you, just be very mindful of the conversation. Usually what I do then is I'll check my drink tickets, make sure that everything is on the up and up, and then I'll start to listen more to the conversation. I can understand most Thai now. Sometimes if they know that I speak Thai, they'll switch to Isan or they'll switch to a different dialect. I can't understand that. So I can only understand the basic Thai. But yeah, it's very interesting. So definitely, for me, Farong has got a negative connotation. So you won't hear them say it much if you're talking in a friendly conversation with them. If you're talking to the bar manager, they won't refer to you as a Farong. They might refer to someone else as a Farong, but not generally in your presence will they call you a Farong. So just something to know. That's kind of how my take on it. I'll be open to know if you guys see Farong as a negative term or not. You know, that's kind of something how I kind of see it, but be open to see kind of what you guys think. We get caught up on the comments here. So Papa Jib puts a little picture there. It looks like a dinosaur, man. Although it says sauropod, so I don't know what that is. Prep 4 says, thanks, Papa Jib. Go More Hike. I did not know that. Papa Jib then says, call them something, and they like that a lot. So I won't repeat that because it got maybe a negative word in Thai. So I won't say that one. But yeah, let me get caught up on the comments here, see if there's anything else going on here. So yeah, it is interesting though when I was checking the Thailand exchange now, the Thai baht, because I was just amazed. Like it's gone up quite a bit just here in a little bit. I do feel like you will see that hit 36 again if we do have a lot of uncertainty around that. But like I was saying earlier, it won't mean much because if you're not going there to spend it, it won't mean much. The people will mean something to are the expats that are living there that might be getting a U.S. check. And I think it can be huge for them, a 30% increase in what they're seeing. Nice. So I was checking out some of the news. I saw that 30 people were arrested in Thailand for violating the what they call, I guess, the shelter-in-place order, not congregate. So I think initially they were not cracking down on that, but I saw there were a lot of raids on hotels that they were finding bunches of people on there drinking, partying, and they're now taking those people to jail. And you know, Thailand's pretty tough with that kind of stuff. They will put you in the Thai prison, and you'll have to sit there for a while. So it was nice to see if they're actually kind of doing that again. Robert, hello. Richard, hello. And you know, it's interesting. So I don't know if you guys know. So I was going to broach this in the next slide stream, but I can kind of talk about it now. In regards to, I was going to make a question around what is your Thai nickname in Thailand? And what I mean by that is, you know, my name is my American name, Richard. But what I do find in Thai, I found this early on actually, was that it's very difficult for Thai people to say Richard. So, you know, I would say it over and over again, they couldn't get it. And then eventually it kind of morphed into this Richard. And I found that with a couple different names. Like I have a friend, Jeremy, and so that's a more difficult word to say than Richard, I guess. So they cannot say Jeremy. So the Thai nickname for Jeremy is Jimmy. And my friend Jeremy hated that. I said, you know, you got to change your name, man. They cannot say Jeremy. You should go by Jimmy. And that they love that. Every time if I see rock band, he'll ask about Jimmy. And it takes a while for me to understand who they're talking about. But so that's how I got my name, Richard. And it's just so that's what I say now to Thai people when I go and introduce myself. I say Richard because Richard is too difficult. They can't get it. They don't know, you know, what I'm talking about there. So that's sort of a little bit of a story behind my name. I'm interested to know if any of you people in the chat have a hard time with your name. So Robert, I'm thinking, Robert, can they say that name easily in Thai, or they kind of morph it into something else? And be interested to kind of get the feedback there. So Gomor Hike says, so Papa Jib first says it means golden flower. So great. Gomor Hike says, yeah, I've been watching the Tiger YouTube channel, Jib News Reports. So I do like the Tiger for news. I'll go to Bangkok Jack as well. Pattaya One News is good. Pattaya Mail is good as well. I like the Tiger just because I mostly get it on my phone. I find they have a really good mobile interface. They do a nice job. Bangkok Jack is great, but there's a lot of advertisements that pop up that you got to X out of and X this, and it just gets to be a little much. If I ever had a chance to talk to that guy, I would say ease up on the ads because on the phone it's nuts. You're trying to get it out of the way so you can read the news article. So Tommy J says, when I go to a bar in Pattaya that I've been before, I make it a point to use the same waitstaff. I have found you can build a good relationship and they won't cheat your bin. So yeah, let's break that down. So first of all, it's a great point. What he means by they won't cheat your bin. So a lot of times you'll have two types of bars in Thailand. One, usually the go-go bars are like this, but there are some higher end beer bars that do this where you'll get an itemized total on one sheet of paper. I love those because you can see your total go up. You can see where you're at. You know, okay, I'm at 2,000 baht. Okay, I'm going to start kind of maybe transition to a different bar. You can see your running total. What he's talking about is the bin. Is each round of drinks you buy, there's one, what they call check, that goes into a bin. It's like a little holder where each check goes into. That's more difficult because they have to add it all up at the end of the night. And you can estimate in your head what that is. You can say, okay, one round of drinks, I bought two here, one there, that's about 300, and 400, and 300. You can sort of total it up in your mind. The reason I don't like that as much is because when you ask for a total, usually say a shake bin nakap, that means, I'm ready to go. They will take your bin and they'll go back further away so you can't see it. They go back to the cashier who then totals it up, calculator, and they're usually totaling it up with the mama-san. So I find like that's a real chance for you to maybe get an unofficial total you don't like so much. I don't know, I've had some things happen I won't go into today, but they'll total up and give you the one total. I'm not really a big fan of that. So I won't generally stay at a beer bar for a long time. I'll usually buy one or two rounds and then go off somewhere else that has that itemized total. I prefer that. That's a lot better for me. So thanks for that, Tommy. And he made a point about going to the same waitstaff. So they really appreciate that too, because usually you're tipping the waitstaff a little bit. And if you're making friends with the same person, you're gonna get better service. One tip I do is I always try to, if I'm going to a new bar, I always try to talk to the mama-san, the bar manager. There's usually 2 mama-sans at each bar. One is in charge of the numbers. She's checking all the bins coming in, all the totals. The other one is in charge of the girls and the Westerners that come in to frequent the bar. So they're more of like the concierge at the bar. So you want to make friends with that person that's going to be taking care of you during the time. That she'll usually give you a drink for free after your first or second round. So that's a good way to do. That's a good point, Tommy. Definitely make friends with the wait staff. Go More Hike says, I've heard single syllable names are easier for them to pronounce. So true as well. And that's why you got to kind of figure out, make it easy on them to say your name. If it's one of those things where they really labor with, they're not really going to remember you, they're not going to remember your name. So yeah, be interested to know if anyone has nicknames for themselves. Yeah. So Never Trust says they can't pronounce my first name, so I use my middle name, Kevin. My Thai nickname is Cheng Noi. So that's awesome. So that's cool. Yeah, Kevin. See, Kevin's easier to pronounce. I think anything with like an R in it is more difficult for them. Robert says it's different. Papa Jib says they say R words with an L. That is true. So a lot of times you'll find the people that are better with English will actually say the full word farong with the R. Some that are not so good with English, they'll switch it to falong with an L. So yeah, a lot of times you hear falong, falong, farong, farong. The people, they're usually a little bit older in age. They're a little more disciplined with the English. They'll say farong, but a lot of them just take the easy way out, falong. So yeah, just something to keep in mind. Prep4 says here in Canada, Ontario, it is $5,000 fine. It says about $3,500 US for violating social distancing. Staying indoors is cheaper. Yeah, so that's actually great to hear that they're taking it that seriously. It's a little different over here. Today they just approved that, or they didn't approve, they're now recommending to everyone wear a mask outside. I've had a mask for weeks. I do find it interesting that they're kind of shaming us a little bit away from wearing the N95 masks, which is what I have. I feel like I bought those way back in January for my February trip. I felt like because I was responsible and bought masks ahead of time, I shouldn't be guilted into giving those up. I should still be able to wear those. There were the cheaper masks that were available, but I chose for the N95. It felt a little uncomfortable. They're trying to guilt us into not wearing those N95 masks. So yeah. So Papa Jib says little elephant. He puts a little elephant in there. Tommy J says, I always tip Mama well. So that's important because she can do a lot of good things for you. It's just important to have those relationships with the mama-sans. Into the Fire says, I'm also Richard. I tried using my middle name, Andrew, too hard, so went with Andy, much easier. So that was great thinking. See, so he adapted. He found out. It's a great post there, Into the Fire. So he was smart. So his first name was Richard. Middle name was Andrew, again with the R. So not really able to pronounce that. He kind of pivoted to Andy, and probably much easier for them. So that's great. Oasis says, you think drink charges will change when Pattaya restarts? Competition will be fierce as it will take customers time to return. In TH, low demand, oversupply, high prices. Yeah, so, if it made sense, I would totally agree with you, like the drink prices would come down, but it's never been like that. It's like Bizarro land when you go over there. You would think that, hey, this is low season, so everything's got to be cheaper. Well, not really for the most part. In the entertainment areas with the bars and stuff, the price is the price. I have not seen much fluctuation there. I mean, you might find a cheaper price on hotel rooms and stuff, but yeah, I mean, it's really odd. I've been going to Thailand now 6 years. I've been through the heyday back in 2015 to when the Russians left in 2016. It kind of came down a little bit. Low season became very, very low, but prices stayed the same. So, and the thing that really sucked about this recent time when it was slower, when I went in February, the exchange was poor and the prices were the same. So it was essentially much more expensive for me to go and spend time there. So I wasn't really a fan of that. I would have preferred that they kind of decreased the price to account for the poor exchange rate. But they've never really done stuff like that. So I don't know, it's just interesting. So Go More Hike says, nah, don't give those up, brother. Papa Jib says, Falong. Go More Hike says, they could have warned us sooner about the disaster. Yeah, so there's a lot of controversy around that. I don't want to get political in here, but I gotta agree with you a little bit. Papa Jib says you will get canceled if you wear that mask. So let me know what you mean by canceled. Don't quite understand. Go More Hike says canceled with the question mark. So let me know what you think. That's a, I don't know. Let me know what you mean by that. Never Trust says, I'm wondering how many bars will not survive this shutdown and not reopen. So that's a great question. Let's talk about that a little bit, because I was thinking about that the other day too, and I was thinking that, you know, I really feel like Walking Street is going to be one of the last places to recover, because those bars are larger. There's less of them on that area, 1 kilometer long. For those of you that don't know, Walking Street is 1 kilometer long. A lot of larger bars in there that have very high monthly expenses. Even with the you know, service staff, you know, back in their home city, they're still having to pay rent. That does not go away. So I feel like most of those bars are going to go under, and it'll be a long time to have someone come in and take those over. It's easier to hire all the staff, but it's tough to buy into those. Those are very expensive buy-ins. Usually you have to have like a bunch of people that come together that buy into those. So I feel like LK Metro, probably more specifically Soy Made in Thailand, Treat Town, Soy Bukkao, I think those will bounce back very quickly. All open air bars, smaller, the rent is smaller. Most of those are all locally owned by Thai people. So they may get more of a sweetheart deal. Maybe they get forgiven a month or two for their rent. You will find most of the bars on Walking are owned by foreigners. So, you know, if there's visa problems, like there's been changes with visa requirements, some of those may choose not to come back. So just kind of my 2 bits on that. I think the Walking Street will be probably longer to recover, which is why I was thinking on the last stream is, you know, if they do open up September, October, I do feel like November, December, there will still be having bars changing ownership, trying to hire staff. Who are they going to hire? What are they going to do? Are they going to change their, you know, what they're going to be doing? I don't know. I think it'll take a couple months to figure it out. So Papa Jib says, yeah, you've heard of the Cancel Society, haven't you? Not really. Go More Hike. So where else have you been in Thailand? So, man, I've been around. So when I first started coming, first couple of trips, mostly in Pattaya, then I got a condo in Jomtien. I had that for about a year. So spent time in Jomtien, right next to Pattaya. Been to Udon Thani, Saran, Chiang Mai, and Chiang Rai. My thing on Chiang Mai and Chiang Rai is I definitely liked Chiang Rai more than Chiang Mai. Just felt like Chiang Mai was a little too touristy. I went to Phuket once for 2 days. Found it to be very expensive. So I was not really a big fan of that so much. But I've been to, I think last time I counted, it was like 54 different provinces around Thailand. So mostly in the, like between Bangkok and Jomtien, and then going south just that one time to Phuket. So been to quite a few places, more like the outside areas. Yeah, just kind of been all around. Robert says, is saying hello to Stuck. Stuck in Florida says, Rishar, good afternoon. Thanks for showing up, Stuck. Appreciate it. Go More Hike says, Florida in the house. Stuck in Florida says, Robert Mercado, hello. Oasis says, a lot of people are losing jobs worldwide. Tourists will have less money to travel for a year or two. So there's a lot of truth to that, right? And then I was thinking, what I'm hearing is once the recovery kicks in, everything is fine again, which I do believe things will recover. It's just going to take some time. I think there'll be a big push to have people travel within their own country to help with that economy. I do think there might be a little bit of a stigma attached to those of us that choose to go out of country. We choose to go to the Philippines or Thailand or Taiwan. I think there'll be questions asked about, why are you not just vacationing in America? You should go to New York City and spend money there. Well, they really took a hit there. You should go to Louisiana, spend time in New Orleans, this kind of thing. So I do feel like that might happen. Just my guess, nothing written in stone, but I do feel like after something like that, there may be some questions asked about why you're going out of the country when you should be spending your money here. So I'm definitely very cognizant of that. That's something I'll definitely be thinking about before I book my next trip to Thailand, because I would like to support, you know, the local economy here. Yeah, so that's a great point. I always appreciate that. So Stuck in Florida says, go More Hike, thumbs up. Papa Jib says it's called being politically incorrect. Yeah, politically incorrect. So yeah. Robert says Chiang Rai is great. Yeah, I definitely like Chiang Rai. And for those of you that don't know, so Chiang Rai is the place you might have heard a little bit on the news around the boys in the cave. So all those schoolboys that got stuck in the cave and they had to get them out. special aqua equipment and stuff. So that all happened in Chiang Rai. There's a lot of great caves to explore. They're not all as dangerous as that. You can actually go, and it's a pretty fun little area. People are very friendly there. A little bit of Thai goes a long way. So Gomor Hike says, why do you keep going back to Pattaya? Why not frequent Phuket or Samui more? So Samui I like. So those of you that don't know, Samui is pretty close to Pattaya. Phuket, I'm not a fan. I found, for me, it seemed like a little dirty and very expensive. I go to Pattaya, Jomtien, Bangkok because the dollar goes further for me. And I'm treated very well there. So I always go where I'm treated best. I have a lot of friends in that area, Jomtien, Pattaya, that know me. So I've been going there 6 years. It's like my local Cheers, you know, so I can go there. I know where the nice hotels are. I know where the good restaurants are that I really like. So I really enjoy a lot of the restaurants there. I have the same driver that's been picking me up for 6 years to take me in there. It's just familiar to me and I like it. So as much as I do kind of get out to some of the other areas, I will only spend a day or two there and get out. But most of the time I like Pattaya because Rockman is there and I can go out to the islands for not a lot of cost. You know, if you go down south to Phuket, you're paying triple the price to go out on a boat tour where you're going to be seeing the same kind of beaches and landscape. So for me, that's kind of why I keep going back. Papa Jip says, I've lived in Chiang Rai for 23 years. Wow, great. So I guess question, if you don't mind me asking now, where do you live now? So you lived in Chiang Rai for 23 years. I'm assuming you might have switched somewhere else. And then Into the Fire says, once you're bitten by the Pattaya bug, very hard to go anywhere else. I mean, they have such great Western food there. I'm not a big Thai food guy, so I like the fact that it's really catered to the Westerners. All the Western food is great for me. So Prep For It says, I booked my 2020 trip to Pattaya in October 2019. So when are you, so Prep For It, when are you going in 2020 then? Are you coming up in like November, December? Are you gonna go then? And then Never Trust says there may be a health certificate requirement upon entry to Thailand once normal travel commences. So thank you for that comment. That's very wise. So this guy's a veteran. He's been following things pretty closely. Thank you for that. And you're always welcome in my chats. Those are great comments. So that would be a deal breaker for me. Not because I'm scared of having anything or saying, oh, I have the coronavirus. It's just that, man, it seems like another layer you have to go through to go on vacation. And I'm all about keeping it simple. You know, I love the fact that most Americans get visa exemptions when they come in. Just stamp your passport, you're good to come on in, up to 30 days. If you gotta do health certificates and then show them you have medical insurance, it's just like, do you really want my dollar or not? I feel like if they want you to come in as a tourist, you shouldn't have all these requirements on you. It's just my opinion. That's kind of what I think. John says, Samui is very nice, better if you stay away from the Farang areas. So that's a great point. And same thing with like Koh Larn. So Koh Larn's actually a pretty cool place to stay if you find the hotels on the beaten path and you negotiate a good rate. It can be very expensive too. But Samui, really wonderful place. When I went there wasn't a whole lot of stuff open at night. So I kind of got a little bit of the island fever. I wanted to get to where more hustle and bustle. Yeah, I've spent, I spent a lot of time in Hawaii over the years, and the couple times I spent on Maui, the island of Maui, for a couple weeks, I was going crazy. So I'm more of a nightlife guy, big city guy, which is why I kind of live in San Francisco. That's kind of what I prefer. So, yeah. So, yeah, Samui and the Thai people are great. That's great. Awesome. Gomor Hike says, sometimes you want to go where everyone knows your name. So that's kind of what it is, right? And there is a negative side of that, right? If everyone does know your name and they know you're coming, they expect you to come and visit their bar. So sometimes I have to take a strategic approach to my evening activities because I have to make sure that I hit off all the ones with all my friends. So I have to go a certain way. There'll be oftentimes I'm thinking I'm going out the front way, maybe to walking street. So, I got to go second road first, hit this one and that one, and then I got to go over here. So it can come back to bite you a little bit. But yeah, it's definitely, it's nice to kind of go where people know you and where you're treated very well. And that's why I go. Where the dollar goes a long way. Pattaya is very inexpensive. It's why it's very popular. Food is inexpensive. The drinks, if you compare them to other areas, especially if you compare them to Phuket, you're going to pay less money. So Prep For It says he's going in September, hopefully. So yeah, let me know how that goes. That's an aggressive plan, but I feel like you can be aggressive there because if you have to rebook, that's okay. So I don't think that's a problem. So yeah, hopefully you get a chance to get out there. Papa Jib says Pai is probably the most beautiful place in Thailand. Oh, good. Check that out. Not familiar with that. Robert says, then to have to show the certificate within a very short time, not good. Yeah, just not a big fan of all these certificates and proof of this and that to show people. I'm not a big fan of that. Yeah, Go More Hike says, anybody been to Ko Kut, Lonely Planet guidebook, talk highly of it. Let's see if anyone knows of that, Ko Kut. Let me know if any of you in the chat are familiar with that. Never Trust says, I got the Pattaya for the nightlife. I have a good circle of Thai and expat friends there. If I go to Phuket or Samui, etc., it's just more of the same where I don't know anyone. And that's kind of how I felt. Of course, you can kind of build up that whole network, but you know, it's more expensive. It's where a lot of tourists go. So it's very, you know, I found that it was very expensive just to get food there. Take a boat tour out is a lot more money. So, you know, I've been there, done that. I can stamp that and say I've been there, but I didn't choose to go back. Bangkok I like a little bit. I can't really take more than a couple days of Bangkok. Just the traffic was too nuts for me there. But I do like the hustle and bustle to a certain point. I kind of like Pattaya is great because you can't get lost there. You can walk almost everywhere. And you know, if you have a good circle of friends there, you get treated very well. And you know, like Never Trust is saying, he has a good bunch of expat friends that can help you out as well. So yeah, John says, Papa Jib, have you been to Khan Sok? And Papa Jib says yes. Papa Jib says, my house is in Chengxiang. So it's cool, interesting. Yeah, very nice. Yeah, it's interesting. So I do feel like what's going to happen, I was seeing that Thai Airways recently in the news was going to be cutting pay starting today, Saturday, Thailand time. They were going to be cutting people's pay. So I felt that's an indication there might be some consolidation with all the Southeast Asian carriers. And I got to tell you, so most of my airline miles are on Philippine Airlines. I would hate it if they got consolidated into someone else. My miles didn't transfer. That would be horrible because most of my miles are on that airline. My favorite airline is China Airlines. I don't think that's going anywhere. I think if anything, they may rebrand to Taiwan Airlines or Taiwanese Airlines. There was some talk about that. They were running that by the board of directors at China Airlines because, especially now, they're not going to want the negative connotation of China and China Airlines. So I think they were trying to change their name, but it was going to cost a lot of money to change all the letterhead. The planes would have to change, all this kind of stuff. But there has been talk about that. Tommy J says, I hope you are a mutual manager friend Dan can hang in there. Oasia says, Pattaya has its own intelligence networks. Seems that old friends hear about your arrivals through your coconut telegraph, friends at other bars. So that's actually a funny term, coconut telegraph. So yeah, friends at other bars. So it's kind of the way to say that. Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that. Usually only locals will say that. Khan Sok National Park, John says, Khao Sok National Park. So that's good. So a question for all of you. When you come into Thailand, what's your preferred way of getting to your final destination, to your hotel? Do all of you prefer to take a bus or a taxi, or do you have like a car service? Be interested to see what everyone's preference is there. For me, I started out with a taxi that first trip. Then I met a mama-san at a bar, and she said, how much are you paying for that? I can get you a car service at the same price. And I met Prim, which is the guy that now takes me all around. So he picks me up, takes me from Bangkok airport to my hotel and then back and forth. And the cool thing about Prim is if I want to go anywhere while I'm there, if I want to go to Bangkok, he'll give me a great rate. So yeah, that's a pretty good way to go. So Tommy says, I have a car service 1,000 baht, which is good. I'm assuming you're going from Swampy Airport to Pattaya. John says, you know, $30 to $40 for a car. Papa Jib says SkyTrain. So how do you like that, man? So interesting. So SkyTrain is good to go. I was not aware that it went from the airport. I'm assuming you're going to downtown Bangkok. That's pretty cool. It's probably a really smart way to go. And then Robert says friends pick me up at the airport. See, that's a great reason to have friends and keep going back to the same place because people know you. So yeah, it's definitely very smart. I mean, so I pay 1,500 baht for my car service, and there might be cheaper places to go to, like Tommy was mentioning, 1,000 baht. I know a taxi, meter taxi, or just one cost taxi might be a little bit cheaper. For me, you know, it's worth it for the peace of mind. I might pay, you know, a couple dollars more. You know, 1,500 baht, I mean, you're pretty much talking, that can be anywhere from a 1.5 hour trip to a 3-hour trip. That's $45 US. So in America, if you're taking a 2 to 3 hour trip, that's like $300. And that's going to be very expensive. If I take an Uber for an hour, that's like almost $100. So for me, $40, that's a great deal. And it's the same guy for 6 years, never late. If my flight is late, he's always there waiting for me. I felt bad one time my flight was late coming in, immigration was stacked. I was 3.5 hours late, and he was there. Granted, when I saw him, he had to go use the restroom because he was scared about missing me. So he didn't want to go take a break. I felt so bad for the guy. But yeah, so he's always there. So I like that. So I'll pay a little bit more, maybe $5 more, to make sure I'm using the same guy. You know, get that internal network going. Prep for it says bus from the airport, then moto taxi to the hotel. I'm good with one backpack for 3 to 4 weeks. See, and that's the benefit of pack and bite. Like prep for it, veteran move there. Backpack is awesome because then you can just get on the moto taxi, and that's awesome. So that's actually a pretty good way to go. I think if I was coming out for Songkran, where I just had to have a couple different outfits, like workout outfits that were going to get wet, I would probably be able to take a backpack too. Yeah. Never trust says my flight always arrives late, about 23:30, it's about 11:30 after immigration, baggage claim. It's very late. I use Mr. T Taxi, and their service has been very reliable at that time for years. So that's a great point too. It depends a lot on when your flight's coming in. So for him, it's probably just less stress. You know, you're tired, you're coming in late at night, just grab your bag. They have the taxi line. It's very easy to use. Hit a button, your receipt comes out, you get on a taxi. So probably for him, it's just less stress. I will tell you, so I used to, when I came back to America, San Francisco, I would just get in a taxi and go home because there were so many taxis lined up. You were paying a premium for a taxi over an Uber, but back then, you'd have to wait a long time for an Uber to arrive at the San Francisco airport. So I would just get in a taxi and pay a little bit more just to get home quicker. Now, Uber's great to downtown BKK. And I would think like that rail line probably is less traffic as well. Even though I think from the airport it's only about 30 minutes, I would definitely think like the rail line is probably cheapest and probably easiest, probably quickest the way to go. Papa Jip says goes from the airport to downtown and you change to the Sky. You know, good for that guy. So that's great. Papa Jip says SkyTrain is $5 max. Yeah, so a lot less than like the $45 I'm paying. I used to take China Airlines. That's my preferred. Sometimes I'll take Philippine Airlines. Lately, like the last 2 years, it's all about China Airlines, and there's only a 1 hour layover in Taipei. So literally, I am off that flight, walking and getting onto the next flight. I love that because you don't want to have less than 90 minutes between your flight, then to get your luggage over to the next flight. I don't think anyone's had a problem with that, but I just try to play it safe. And like to always try to keep my luggage. So a little carry-on and a backpack, my laptop. So I try to pack pretty light. And I usually use the laundry service in Pattaya. So I'll take usually just like 3 days worth of clothes and then get it laundered once. It doesn't cost a lot, it's a couple dollars, and they usually can do it within a day. So Into the Fire says bus from the airport to Pattaya, nice way to relax and get there. As long as you're picking the bus that has air conditioning, right? So I know there are some that don't have that. See service for late arrival for that ride. Yeah, it definitely makes sense. It's probably low stress for you then. Just kind of get off the plane, get into a taxi, you're good to go. So Papa Jip says no more Uber in Thailand. Oh, I know. I heard stories about some of those taxi drivers roughing up some of the Uber drivers. I saw that in the news. It sounded pretty rough. I wasn't a big fan of that. I feel like it should be like a free market there, but yeah. Cool. Great. Well, I'm coming up on about 45 minutes here, guys. Anything else? How's the stream been so far today? Has it been buffering at all? Has it been pretty much good connection? I'm always concerned about that. I have good internet here in San Francisco. I'm always wondering if there's any kind of blips or freezes. Hopefully everything's good. Looks like stuff had to go out and come back in. Hopefully your connection buffering a bit. All right. Good to keep in mind. Some buffering. So the cool thing about the buffering is I think once the live stream posts, it should be no buffering. So hopefully that should be the case. Yeah. So never trusted the past few years. I noticed a lot of tourists using Uber around Pattaya. Yeah, I know that Jeremy uses GrabCar most of the time. So I think GrabCar is pretty popular in Southeast Asia, just like an Uber, but different kind of application. So yeah. Into the Fire says, live stream, always great info. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. You know, it's new to me. Hopefully the live stream is helpful for you guys. Yeah, give me a thumbs up if you can. Definitely helps the YouTube algorithm. I'm almost at 100 subscribers. I'm 4 short. So if you're in the live stream, I would ask for your consideration in subscribing to the channel. You know, those YouTubers in the chat know that, you know, the subscriber count's really just a vanity metric. But there is a little something that happens at 100 subscribers. YouTube gives me a vanity URL for my channel, so things do change just a little bit. And it's a nice way for me to kind of build up to 100. I feel like you guys have been a great community so far. I've appreciated all the great comments and the thumbs ups that you're giving me. So yeah, I love to kind of share the information. 6 years in Thailand, love to kind of share what I know. So yeah, happy to help out there. Shutting from the sky, welcome to the chat. Haven't seen you yet today. So he says Phuket versus Pattaya, which are better in looks? That's a tough question. See, other live streams would not answer this question, but I would. So I think the looks are better in Pattaya than Phuket, just because most of the girls are coming from Isan. Yeah, just my take, my opinion, one man's opinion. But I will answer that. See, I like to be a little controversial, a little on the edge there. Most people will say, delete that comment. I will not answer that, but I'll answer. Okay. So Papa Jizz is very good connection and way good stream on both. Thank you. And the fire, appreciate these live streams. Always great source of real info. And that's, I just want to keep it real. So I can give you like real information. Yeah, happy to do that for you. So Go More Hike says, you're going to do San Francisco vlogs when it's safe. So I'll probably be doing them sooner than later, actually, because I think I have enough video to do one more part to Reshove Returns, part 5. And that might be, you know, a goodbye type video where I show a little bit of the outgoing stuff. So then I'll probably transition to a little bit more of the San Francisco vlog. So hopefully you guys are still into that. I could do walk and talks in San Francisco and still talk about Thailand, but maybe get outside a little bit. You know, like Go More Hike is saying, you know, when it's safe, because we're all on lockdown here. So, you know, I have to stay in this 500 square foot apartment every day. Luckily, there's a market right next door, so I can kind of stock up. So, yeah, shooting from the sky says good. Tommy J says more selection in Pattaya. Into the Fire says Pattaya girls are awesome. My first preference, so very nice. And I think with that, I'm going to say goodbye to the live stream and see you guys in a couple days. And thanks for showing up. I really appreciate it. Everyone have a good day.